Hannah Dugan was indicted this week on charges of obstruction and concealing an individual to prevent arrest. FBI Director Kash Patel has said that Dugan, quote, intentionally misdirected federal agents away from an undocumented immigrant who was said to be arrested at her courthouse last month. Dugan's attorneys are moving to have the case dismissed, arguing her actions were in her official capacity as a judge and that she has immunity from criminal prosecution.
Greetings and welcome to another Ken's Corner. Ken, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing good. I just got back from a funeral. That's why I'm jumping the gun, but I'm gonna lead you into. I'm wearing a black shirt, so I wore this to a buddy's wife's funeral. So
very nice shirt. No, it's not a t-shirt. So
no, it's not a t-shirt. It's the first time ever.
I'm not used to this. I'm confused. Does not compute. Does not compute.
Does not compute. Oh man.
And also, of course, we have his tag team partner, Brett Gunderson. Welcome, brother.
Nice to be back and see you guys again.
Awesome to have you. For those that do not know, Ken and Brett will be doing a Samoan neck-breaking drop combination tag team move on today's news and misinformation. Oh, very nice, very nice. I could hear the crunch.
The crunch. Oh man.
So Ken, you said you went to a funeral.
Yeah.
Would you like to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah. I want to just give a shout out that my shirt is generic black, right? And I attended a funeral today. A very special person. Her name is Sally Tipton, and her husband is a pastor, and her husband Dave, he's a strong believer, and he delivered a powerful message, and all the kids got up and spoke, and I couldn't believe. I can't describe the message. It was strong, and I don't think I could do it. I don't think I could ever do that. He just published a book, and I'm going to push that book because I promised I would, and I'm saying hi to him. His name is Dave Tipton. And his book is called The Great Business. And here's what the website said about it. It's about how we might change the focus from mere religion, ministry works, and duties to Christ himself. And I need to get that. I haven't ordered it yet. I totally spaced out, and I'm going to order it when I sat down as soon as I got home. So, but my dear brother Dave, I love you, brother. I love you and the family. I just want you to know that. So just want to shout out to him.
Great. Well, tell us what you think of that book when you're done reading it.
Yeah, I will. And I just want to say our tagline, right? Spread our funny views of serious news. All right. We're going to try and be light, but we're going to share some serious stuff. And remember to like, comment, and share the podcast with people. Because if you spread this ministry and spread it, to more people, then who knows?
Important to keep the word out there.
Absolutely. And now I'm going to have to make a real quick confession this evening. Brett, you went to a place that is on my bucket list. I believe you went to Machu Picchu, if I'm not mistaken. Correct?
We did. We went to Cusco, and we spent 5 days in Cusco and then 2 days at Machu Picchu.
Yes, I am green with jealousy because
wow.
I have wanted to go there since I was a wee lad. To see those stones.
It's been a bucket list of mine as well. My wife actually went last year on a missions trip there and is connected with a local church that's not in Machu Picchu, but in Cusco.
Wow.
And their ministry is to the kids. As you know, Peru, like Latin and South America, is a very heavy Catholic community, and they're really reaching out to the children, trying to change the youth, and then to draw the parents in, hopefully with the kids, with what they provide to the kids. And they have homes, but there's a lot of poverty. They don't get much to eat. And so we're kind of trying to come alongside them and just help and support them a little bit.
Praise God.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, but in our conversation before, you said something that was one of the reasons why I want to go there. Some of the etchings that the Incans put on their stones. It's very, very fascinating story. Go ahead and please share that.
Yeah, our guide, who actually was a Christian, he took us. The place was actually called Sese Woman, and that's Quechuan, and it's over 12,000 feet above sea level. And the Incas found seahorses that had been fossilized into the stone there, and were apparently somewhat fascinated by them because they carved them into the limestone at some of their sites. At some of their ruins.
Seahorses at 12,000 feet? How is that possible?
Can you say flood?
Apparently, it wasn't just a local flood.
No, it was not. No.
Because, like I said, I think I'm in pretty good shape. Me and my wife were huffing and puffing at over 12,000 feet climbing.
Yeah.
The oxygen is a little bit, sparse when you're that high. Yes.
Wow. That's crazy.
And our guide was explaining to us that the Incas, they had 5 main gods that they worshipped, but he said they always knew there was one creator god that they didn't know who he was, but in their legend that he was the one that created all the other gods, the sun, the moon, the stars, the thunder, and the earth.
Wow.
It sounds like the Peruvians or the ancient Incans were at the Tower of Babel, maybe.
Maybe.
I think so. It all seems related, and it all seems like we have that hole in our heart that we have to worship something.
Yeah.
It's just, who is it that it's going to be?
Well, most people fill it with themselves.
Yep.
Unfortunately.
So what's that Bob Dylan song? You got to serve somebody.
You got to serve somebody.
Yeah.
Yep.
It may be the devil, it may be the Lord.
Well,
but overall, great trip. People were amazing. Had a really good time.
Yeah,
awesome.
Sounds fabulous. I hope someday I'll get to do the same. But yeah, if you're huffing and puffing, I'd probably need some oxygen tanks.
Yeah, that's pretty high up. That's 12,000. Well, I live at 5,200 feet, and I would, when I was first doing jujitsu out here, I had to adapt. I was doing 2-minute rounds, and I was dying. He was laughing at me, and then I got in shape. I got up to where I'm at now. And then I went down to roll with all the guys down in Newport Beach, and I killed it for an hour and a half. I'm like, I still got energy left. Anybody else want to go? And they're like, oh, we're done. And I still had like hours of energy left. It was crazy what the elevation can do for you if you properly, oxygenate. Yeah.
Although Jay, the Machu Picchu surprisingly is just over 5,000. It's not near as high as Cusco.
Oh, there we go. So just take the BAM line up to Machu Picchu.
When you came up here, you were good, Jay. You were good. We walked downtown. Yeah, you were good, right?
Yeah, that was fine.
Yeah, that's about the same.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
I can handle Machu Picchu, but I'm not going up to Cusco.
No.
Got it.
I wouldn't go 12,000. I wouldn't go 12,000 feet.
We move slow.
Gotcha. Well, the next story, we're going to visit one of the places, Pizarro. He actually conquered the Incans. It's part of the conquistadors. But back in good old España, well, Spain now has how much you can withdraw from your own account. The banks say, regulations, you understand. Translation, you didn't earn it. We did. Because possession is 10/10 of the law. And guess who's holding the bag?
10/10.
Spain says, who's your daddy?
Yeah.
In Spain, they've now, the government is requiring permission to withdraw your own money from the bank. Anybody withdrawing 3,000 euros or more, you must first notify Spain's tax agency in at least 24 hours in advance. And if your withdrawal is going to exceed 100,000 euros, the agency requires a 72-hour approval process. The Spanish government says, get this, that it's to help prevent against money laundering and terrorism.
Yeah, right.
But as we know, it's most likely a measure just to give the government more control, especially since they see the capital fleeing Europe, going to other parts of the world. And we all know when people lose confidence in the government, and that's when you end up getting the bank runs, which is what really happened in Germany. Is when they back in I believe it was 39 when the government confiscated 10% of the property and they had the bank runs. And so with the confidence dwindling, they are hoping that this can be a stopgap from people being able to make bank runs. This will also allow the government to implement a freeze on all accounts if they deem it necessary. It also allows them to hunt for any taxes that they think that you didn't pay or that maybe you owe more on. The banks will be required to submit the information through digital identification methods. The government has also ordered the banks to deny customers the right to their own funds if they can't provide the proper documentation. You must also explain what the money is going to be used for. And they also are putting into, if you are going to try to get around the system by taking out lower amounts of money, it's going to flag your account and you're going to be labeled under committing suspicious activity. No. So they're still going to try to come after you, even just trying to get around. So yeah, it's they know that people are moving the money out of Europe and they are trying to stop it. And again, going after any taxes they think they can possibly get.
Wow. Wow. I remember Bank of America didn't cash one of my, I didn't say this in the pre-show, but I just thought of it. My billionaire client used to pay me like 10 grand because all five of the family members trained. And so he went through it quite quickly. And there was a certain point where I cashed the check, 10 grand at Bank of America. And there was one time where I went in and they said, yeah, that's too much money. And he had to write 5 grand, and then 5 grand became too much money. They didn't have the money. They didn't have that they said they didn't have the money, but I don't know if they did or not. But it was weird. Then he started writing me 2 grand checks and just kept writing them. But it was crazy. It was nuts. I saw it change.
The same thing where I was doing a corporate thing and they paid me at the end of the 3 months and I went to bring that check in to get the money and they said, we can't do it. You got to give us a couple days to get the money.
Oh, wow. A bank that has millions or billions of our dollars, right?
Right. Yeah. But it's not our money, apparently.
But you saw the fractional banking system, how I forget who I watched that described it, that just they have like 1/10 of the or not even that, the actual money that's deposited.
Yeah.
Crazy.
And the bankers will be the first to make fun of grandma putting money in a mattress, but grandma doesn't look so stupid anymore.
Nope. She does not.
All right. Well, let's move on to the next topic. Deutschland. Well, we know it. We love it. It's a wonderful place, kind of. In a playbook straight out of the Biden administration, the opposing party oppose the party in power, and suddenly you're a terrorist. Germany now lists the AfD as a domestic extremist threat. Why? Because they're too successful. Democracy dies in deep state, Germany. Deutschland's response: this is not suppression. This is how you say preventative democracy. We arrest you before the election. Much more efficient.
The contradictions are just, you can't make this stuff up.
No.
The Office for Protection of the Constitution, the BFV, has labeled the group an extreme domestic terrorists. As of last month, the AfD has become the most popular party in Germany. And if you remember, after the last elections, they came in second, but still got squeezed out of being in the party as the other parties combined to override him. The party has vowed to restore Germany for the people of Germany, but the Germany's authorities have considered banning the party altogether under Article 21, which forbids the political parties from, I'm going to read this quote, to seek to undermine or abolish the free democratic basic order or that endangers the existence of the Federal Republic of Germany shall be declared unconstitutional. So, and then the AFD is now turning around and suing them, saying that they are being labeled as domestic terrorists. Quote, through our lawsuit, we aim to send a decisive message against the misuse of state authority and suppress and that excludes the opposition, and quote, distorts democratic competition and undermines millions of votes, the FDA stated. And the funny thing on this is Marco Rubio then later replied on X saying, Germany just gave its spy agency new powers to surveil the opposition. That is not democracy. It's tyranny in disguise. What is truly extremist is not the popular AFD, which took second in the recent elections, but rather the establishment's deadly open border immigration policies that the AFD opposes. Germany should reverse course. And following up Marco's tweet, the German Foreign Office replies, this is democracy. The decision is a result of a thorough and independent investigation to protect our Constitution and the rule of law. It is an independent court that will have the final say. We have learned from our history that right-wing extremists need to be stopped.
Of course.
So in the name of democracy, we shall not have democracy.
we will completely change history. It was not the left. It wasn't Hitler's Socialist Party. It was right-wing extremists.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, when it's convenient to keep power, you just rewrite the rules. That's life.
You do what you need to do.
Oh man.
Well,
all
continuing.
Right. Go ahead.
Jay.
No. Go ahead. You got it.
I was just saying, continuing on with what's going on in Germany. And I think part of this has to do with them. They are the biggest contributor in the EU. They are not only going after just political parties, but they are now going after their own citizens. They have now set up a hotline where citizens may report on other citizens who they believe are spreading disinformation or conspiracy theory.
I guess our show wouldn't be on there, I guess.
Well, and we know how all those conspiracies worked out through that last pandemic and everything else.
Oh yeah.
This is another you just gotta laugh. The Violence Prevention Network, the Antonio Foundation, and the Center for Applied De-Radicalization Research have launched the, quote, advice compass on conspiracy thinking, unquote. The federal interior minister said, quote, conspiracy theories are accompanied by lies and disinformation. They are deliberately spread to divide our society and destroy the trust in independent science, free media, and the democratic institutions. Conspiracy theories can lead to extreme ideology and drive perpetrators to commit crimes and acts of violence. Anti-Semitic conspiracy theories are particularly often spread, unquote. Because we all know, especially when we saw it in the States here, was it the right or the left that rioted and burned down the cities?
I forget. Who was it?
Yeah.
Black Lives Matter.
Yeah.
And in
Right
continuing,
wing.
the government is actually asking its own citizens to be watching for people spreading conspiracy theory surrounding the war in Ukraine, saying that they should mostly look to family members, friends, and fellow students, because those are the people that will most likely offer up their free thinking and what they really believe. And they're asking to turn those people in to their unanimous hotline.
Not to give them any ideas, but if you really want this to work, offer them a stipend for every person they turn in.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
30 Deutschmarks per head.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
And then here we have I'm going to read this. So this is a quote from the Federal Minister of Family Affairs, who also is called conspiracy theories poisonous to democracy. Quote, those seeking advice will receive an initial orientation to help them find suitable counseling services nearby. After a confidential initial consultation, those affected will be referred to a specialized agency if necessary. In this way, we provide very concrete support to those affected and their families while simultaneously strengthening prevention efforts to protect our society from the growing dangers of conspiracy theories.
Just really quickly, I would just like to remind the audience, in Nazi Germany, authorities in both Germany and the occupied countries offered financial rewards or food rations to people, including civilians, who helped capture Jews in hiding. In Poland and France, rewards could be cash, alcohol, cigarettes, or food, often given to local collaborators or even children. The Gestapo frequently used these informants and incentivized them, creating a culture of fear and betrayal. In Poland, some accounts detail the Poles caught helping Jews could be executed, while those who reported Jews could be rewarded with 500 zloty and a kilogram of sugar. Spoonful of sugar makes the medicine go down, I guess, in Germany. Not much has changed in Germany.
No. It's just recycling history.
80 years?
Recycling history, man. Just recycling it.
Everything repeats.
Yeah.
And I think what they learned from the last go round is they could get people to rat out everybody to the government without giving them anything.
Yeah.
That they don't even have to do it.
Yeah.
And they feel superior because they have the moral high ground.
Yep. Exactly.
Because obviously they're in power and God put them in power. I mean, we're back to the divine right of kings.
Yes.
One of Germany's officials actually said, this time we were on the right side of history.
Oh,
you mean the same side as Uncle Adolf, basically?
Yes. So we're gonna help democracy by shutting people down.
Yep, and turning them in.
Have fun with that, Germany. And by the way, Germany, are you going to turn in any of your immigrant Muslims by any chance, or
nope?
Or is like that a hate crime?
Can't go there. That's a hate crime.
That's a hate. Yeah.
Stop right now.
That's
Jay.
a conspiracy theory.
Oh, that's right. I should probably be quiet because I do want to go to Germany in the future.
Yeah.
Darn. My name is not Jay.
Yeah.
I only play him.
I play him.
Our next story. Remember when kids could trick or treat without a GPS tracker? When go play outside wasn't an act of negligence? That world is gone. Now the left isn't just rewriting norms, they're inching towards the normalization of pedophilia. You call it progress, I'll call it perversion. Ken, let's talk about pedos on parade.
Dude, this is another sign that the left hates children, man. It's like after years of gender confusion being pumped into public schools, drag queens reading to toddlers in libraries, hormone blockers being given to children behind parents' backs. Next stop, normalization of pedophilia. Let's look at the B4U Act is what it is. The B4U Act, a Maryland-based organization that openly campaigns to destigmatize pedophilic attraction. The group pushes for the use of the term MAPS, which means minor attracted persons, to replace pedophile. So they want affirmative therapy, wanting to give pedophiles a say in how they are treated. This is not satire. This is not The Onion. So this is just the country still reeling from 4 years of the left's culture chaos, where the radicals are no longer even trying to conceal their endgame. So they want to destroy innocence, erase boundaries, and ultimately make the unthinkable a civil right. And let's be crystal clear, there is no identity in being sexually attracted to children. Once again, no identity, quote unquote, in being sexually attracted to children. All it is preying on the most vulnerable. So it's not something to be affirmed. It's a pathology to be fought and condemned. The B4U Act just legitimizes predators under the false flag of inclusion and mental health. So not to mention that the B4U Act was co-founded by, wait for it, hold on, a convicted child sex offender. His name is Michael Milsheimer. They host workshops, they lobby the American Psychological Association, and teach clinicians how to respect pedophilic desires without judgment. Sorry, this is not therapy. This is institutionalized grooming. So don't make the mistake of assuming this is fringe. This is a leftist world view that discards objective morality in favor of endless self-expression. First, they said gender is a feeling. Then they said 8-year-olds could change their sex. And then they said parents shouldn't interfere. And now they want to make room at the table for non-offending pedophiles because they claim attraction isn't action. So this is what happens when society rejects boundaries and pretends inclusion trumps protection. The reason they always go after the kids is children represent innocence, and innocence is the last remaining obstacle in a total cultural collapse. So let me just say what the media won't. A society that even hesitates to draw a moral line against pedophilia is a society unworthy of survival. That's important. I'll say it again. The left hates children. The left has lost the argument on merit, on science, and on decency. But as far as the rest of us normal people, we're not buying it. We will never affirm pedophilia. We will never respect it. We will never legitimize, normalize, or tolerate it under any banner. And the enemies of childhood innocence, whether they wear lab coats or pride pins, should understand one thing very clearly. We see what you're doing, and the line is drawn. So that's the first story, and I just wanted to get that out there. Did you see Tim Tebow's interview on they're playing excerpts of it on Sean Ryan. Sean Ryan has like 3-4 million viewers. Have you anyone seen it? Have you seen any of? Yeah, he goes off on there. There's some things that I saw today that I didn't write down, but it has to do with this, and he's really pushing and pushing and pushing, and I
know for a fact. I was talking to somebody that just graduated college 6 years ago, so he got this while he was going to college. They were bringing up that MAPS thing, that's saying it's not somebody's fault if they're attracted to a child. That's just the way they are.
Wow.
So again, this is something that was being taught in colleges at least over 6 years ago.
Wow.
So this coming.
Yeah, when you get to normalization of fringe sin, let's call it, it begins with toleration of homosexuality. And then it jumps to pedophilia. It'll go to bestiality.
Yeah.
Each one is a pillar that needs to be crushed and destroyed for the left.
Yeah. Each one.
I would just also like to add a little bit of a caveat or a little bit of addendum to what you said. You guys saw the story that came out of HHS where RFK is saying that HHS was trafficking children.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
I saw that.
Yep.
So not only are we trying to normalize, the left is trying to normalize it, we have the proof that the government under Biden, under the left, was actually promoting and selling, selling is a little bit strong. Let's say facilitating transfer of children.
Yeah. Who was that? Who was that? Speaker of the House during the Reagan years. Who was that Speaker of the House?
Tip
O'Neill?
No, he was. I forget who it was that got busted. They had a trial for him. Yeah, Google that for me.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and then this didn't get much media coverage, but remember the earthquake in Haiti when the Haiti kids went missing under the Clinton administration?
Yes, totally.
And the Haitians actually came to protest in Washington, D.C.
Yeah.
And the government went after them.
Yeah. Yep. Who do you have, Jay?
Dennis Haspert, but it was not under Reagan. It was under Clinton, Bush, and Obama.
Yeah. So Dennis Hastert. Yes, Dennis Hastert. Look him up, guys. Look up Dennis Hastert. And he's a Republican.
And teenage boys.
Yep. Nuts, huh?
Yeah. People in power, they have to seek a new thrill, it seems.
Yep. He's one of the only ones that got busted, though.
Yep.
There's always one fall guy.
Yep.
A little bit of a change of subject now. We're going to go from the deranged to maybe let's call them the privileged. Meanwhile, being rich, famous, adored, and flown around the world is just so hard. Yep. Meanwhile, average Americans are working 2 jobs to afford eggs and gas. But tell us more about your oppression, former First Lady. Yeah. We're all ears from the checkout.
Even the leftists are getting tired of Michelle Obama's constant complaining about her privileged life. But Michelle, her new podcast is not being watched by many people, and it's easy to understand why. When she's not complaining about her husband, who just happens to be a former president, she is complaining about how difficult her privileged life is. And I mean, she owns mansions in multiple locations. The media hangs on every word she says, and she is worth hundreds of millions of dollars. How did
that happen?
Yeah, right. But it's gotten to the point where some leftists are starting to get tired of her. One leftist tweeted and viewed over 2 million times, "I have always liked Michelle Obama." That ended this morning. I've been watching clips of her making the rounds, complaining about her time as First Lady. She is complaining that living in the White House was too expensive because they had to pay for their own food and pay for the girls to fly on one of their parents' 2 airplanes. I'm done. I'm done with the Bourgeois, the elite, the completely out of touch, dictating how everybody in this country thinks and feels. The ignorance and self-pity, the attention-seeking poor me, I'm just disgusted. Of course, Michelle has never been very popular with conservative Americans. If she loses progressives, who's she going to have left, right? So it just seems like nothing the country has blessed her with is ever good enough for her. The left does not know hypocrisy. The liberal mind always thinks they're the victim. And 8 years, America was deceived. The majority fell for it. That's incredible. I guess they also fell for the pandemic and the death jab as well. So, but we have a little, we have a little video that we debated on showing. But are we going to show it?
Yeah, we'll show it right now.
First, the United States will see the first gay president or the first woman president?
We already have it with Obama, so let's just calm down.
Got it.
You know Michelle is a trans.
I'm sorry, she's a what?
A transgender. We all know.
Oh my gosh.
Well, Joan Rivers obviously joked about Michelle Obama's identity. 2 months later, dead. A simple procedure, they said. Some call it a coincidence. Others say maybe she hit a nerve. In politics, a punchline can be fatal.
Yeah. And I'm not saying either or. I don't know. We'll be dead someday, and we'll all find out what's real and what's not. So I'm just pointing out some of the obvious things that we observe. So
I mean, how many times has Michelle been on probably like women's magazines as the woman, most beautiful?
She was
woman
on everything.
Everything. She was chained. Yeah.
And just seeing how beautiful she was, which I'm not saying she is or isn't, but it was shoved down our throats.
She's not.
Yeah.
I can think of many, many beautiful black women. Trust me, I can think of many beautiful black women.
Yeah.
The first one, the one that comes to mind is never Michelle Obama.
No.
Never.
I like Candace, even though she's anti-Jew. She's kind of like she's gone off of her off the Richter on that, but she's a cutie.
Yeah, she's cute. I'm not going to name names. I'm not going to go into detail. Sometimes life feels like a badly written soap opera. And what can only be described as political satire at its crudest. James Comey, the guy who lost the Epstein evidence, well, now his daughter is set to prosecute P. Diddy. Can't make this stuff up. Someone clearly is.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, this is Jim Comey. His daughter is a prosecutor in New York, and she has the Epstein and Maxwell cases, and now she's a prosecutor in the P. Diddy case. That's like Jay, you cannot make this stuff up. Yeah. The deep state is alive and well in New York, man. Anyway, before President Trump stepped into the White House, there was an extra effort to keep him out. The lefty lunatics tried everything, including a couple assassination attempts. Jim Comey was a big part of the anti-Trump brigade. He was fired when Trump took office. Despite his questionable actions, Comey walks free today, making six figures speaking fees while sharing his hatred for President Trump. As many know, Comey's daughter is a chip off the old block. She works for the DOJ in New York. And surprise, the Diddy case is falling apart. A key Diddy witness mysteriously goes missing right before the trial started. She was set to deliver a very personal explosive details next week about the abuse she experienced at the hands of Diddy. The reason they don't release the Epstein files or the Diddy or Diddy files is they're on the list. So as George Carlin once said, it's a big club and you ain't in it. So Jesus, please come back soon. Please help.
It just shows how high this goes.
Yeah, it goes.
We've been talking about for years.
And all these kind of like you know the pedophile thing, you know, and all of them kind of relate. They're totally related.
Yeah.
Sickening.
It is very sickening. And I think if I could just speculate real quick, the first day that Sean Puff Daddy Combs has to face inside of a prison, he'll be on suicide watch and just be outside of the camera's view, or the camera will lose power. It will lose power.
The guards will be on break.
Just long enough for him to hang himself somehow.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
We're just saying.
Oh. In our next story, Labor wants to jail Christian preachers up to 2 years for speaking truth in public. Yeah. Meanwhile, the UK launches a lion fertilization program to save the national mascot. You see it? The lions are being prepared. History doesn't repeat, but it sure rehearses. Now, just so everybody knows, I made up the lion part. It's for dramatic effect.
The lions.
Welcome back to GBN Tonight with me, Martin Daubney. Now, the Labour-ran Rushmore Borough Council has sparked outrage by proposing a sweeping injunction that could see Christian street preachers in prison for up to 2 years. And if the injunction is breached, now over claims of causing offence or distress. Now, under the proposed terms, Christians will be banned from praying for individuals, handing out religious leaflets or Bibles by hand, and laying hands on people in prayer, even with their permission.
Yeah, I think this story went right by us. UK council moves to ban street preachers, and I dare this council to do the same announcement to Muslims. I dare them. That's all I'm going to say. This is how bad it's gotten in England. So a Labour Party run council has sparked outrage by proposing a sweeping injunction that would ban Christian street preachers and jail them for up to 2 years. And ordinary Christians could also be targeted for causing alarm and distress. That's a quote, alarm and distress. Crazy. This council wants to outlaw preaching, praying, and distributing Bibles in public spaces. It would also be illegal to approach anyone for the purpose of engaging them in a discussion about religion or belief. So for 2 years, the council has sought a legal injunction to enforce the ban. This has been going on for a little while. So, and that's why we probably missed it, because it's added on to the 2 years thing. So a street preacher said, if this is not stopped in its tracks now, it will spread and be terrible for Christian freedoms and freedom in general for this country. So others shared that Christians offer valuable support to the homeless and vulnerable and peacefully share the gospel, a tradition long protected in the UK. The council said it began the action in response to a significant number of complaints. I think the injunction is to accommodate the needs of the growing Islamic population, and the obvious hope is they will be forced to convert to Islam in prison before they are released. I'm afraid this is what the Democrats here want to do in the U.S., and godless globalists, Lord help us.
Did you guys see the story about the people that are very angry about South Africans?
Yes. I saw that. Yeah, the 50 South Africans. Yeah. So we got, and I just read the tweet. I think I just retweeted it. So the guy posted. He said, "So 50 South Africans come here, and how many millions?" Like he said, for me. Hold on. So, okay, hold on. I forgot. Oh, okay. Yeah, 50 South Africans, everybody goes crazy, and 10 million aliens. Yeah, they don't start speaking up against anything with the 10 million aliens. No.
Yeah. So what can we take from that? Caucasians are hated.
Yes.
Now, here's a modest proposal in the spirit of, I forgot the book, Modest Proposal. Jonathan Swift. There we go. Sorry. I say, if you're a Christian and you're in the UK, it's time to apply for religious, maybe refugee status. You got about 3.5 years where I think you're going to have an administration that would maybe give you legal standing to come to the United States. I'd say give Britain what it wants. It wants to be Islamic. It wants to have people come from all over the world and take it over. You're going to have a better life in America. That's not too much further down the road, but it's further down the road enough where you might not have to deal with it in your lifetime.
Well, and how many Islamic food banks are there, and how many mosques go out and help the homeless? And those are all Christian organizations.
So here's one of the tweets. This is one of the tweets. So 10 million unvetted illegal aliens come across the border, and the media is silent. 50 white South Africans come, and they have a full meltdown. Got it. I just retweeted that.
Yeah. And why are they coming? Well, they're murdered. They're murdered in their country.
The white farmers, the Boers, are murdered. Absolutely.
Yep. And no one does anything about it.
Yep.
Nope, they don't.
And what does the UK government do if you pray outside? They arrest you.
Yep, silently. You could pray silently. You
can't even pray silently. They arrested that one because he said he was.
Yep. So I don't know. In the Bible, it says, when persecuted, you flee to another city.
Yeah.
It's up to you how you want to take it. But I don't know. The more and more I learn about Britain, I think it's time to get out.
Yeah.
I don't remember
get out 10 years, 15 years ago, 20 years ago. You can't even go to Speaker's Corner. I think that's why Jacob, does he live in the UK? I don't even know where he lives.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah. Wow. We traveled so much. He's never home.
Yeah. That is true.
I don't even know. I thought he lived in Israel for years and years. I know.
Yeah, he's in the UK. Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember I was listening to one podcast, and I can't remember who it was, but he was living in Germany in the mid-30s, and he could see what was coming, and he was trying to tell everybody. And he goes, "You got out of Germany two ways." He goes, "I chose to get out on a plane. My other friends that wouldn't listen to me, they left on a train.
Oh my gosh.
And I never forgot that.
Wow. That is crazy.
Like I came to New York on a plane and the others left in a train.
Wow.
Would listen to me.
Wow.
And yeah, it's sad but true. You get out while you can.
Yeah, if you can.
You're seeing it right now, but of course, many people will just say I'm just an alarmist and an Islamophobe.
Of course.
Well,
of course. You phobe.
Favorite thing to ask him always is, what exactly is an Islamophobic?
Yeah. Yeah.
Or a xenophobic? Can you explain that to me?
Yeah. Explain that.
Because I don't have an irrational fear of Islam.
No, I
don't. I do know what the Quran says.
Yeah.
I mean, I have a caution against them. Let's move on.
Okay.
Before we get another community guideline strike.
Yeah.
Supreme Court, trans ban back in the military. No more high heels for sailors. No more skirts in tank battalions. And the USO show, well, let's just say Bob Hope wouldn't recognize it. Readiness over role play. Welcome back, Kennedy, however brief.
The Supreme Court, man, they allow Trump his transgender ban in the military. So they made the decision 6-3. Of course, we can all name the 3 justices. Everybody, on the count of 3, name these 3 justices that voted against it: Sotomayor, Kagan, and Jackson.
Okay. Yeah.
Jackson, the new one. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Last month, President Trump asked the Supreme Court to intervene after a lower court temporarily blocked his ban on transgender troops. The Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals, stacked with leftist judges, previously denied the Trump administration's stay of injunction on the transgender troop ban a couple weeks ago. In January, Trump signed the Restoring America's Fighting Force executive order and the Prioritizing Military Excellence and Readiness executive order, which directs every element of the U.S. military to operate free from preference-based or on race or sex, and roots out gender, insanity, and made-up pronoun usage, respectively. It's about time we allow our commander-in-chief to command. So I think actually we should keep the transgender and deploy them to the front against Iran. Just kidding. So and that I hope that doesn't get us banned.
I mean, you are taking a playbook out of what they did with the Iran-Iraq war.
Yes, they did. They
gave a bunch of kids, some fake rubber weapons and said, "Charge the minefield."
Go. Yep. Totally. Yep. You're absolutely right. And it would kind of be tough holding the skirt down in the desert wind, but so that's my last one. Sorry, that's my last one. I promise.
Nice.
But
nice.
All judges have the God syndrome. Cannot wait until the creator of the universe takes over, man. Maranatha.
Yes, please, Lord Jesus, come soon.
Yes.
Our next story, Pacific Palisades fire. If you remember,
Yes.
It was I believe it was last year.
Yeah.
An Oregon arsonist and climate change expert was arrested at the Pacific Palisades fire. The story made headlines for 10 seconds.
Yeah.
An eco-terrorist today, vanished tomorrow. Funny how the narrative burns out when science lights the match.
Yeah. And remember the Pacific Fire, okay, guys? Pacific Palisades Fire. It's down the street from Jay, right down the south. Did you see any of the smoke?
I saw the smoke. I saw the smoke the day it was happening.
Wow. Here's what we were never told about the Pacific Palisades fire, and the story disappeared. A Portland, Oregon couple was found at the scene in a fake fire truck, and I saw the fire truck. It looked pretty real. They got it in an auction. So the husband is a convicted arsonist, and the wife is a National Weather Service wind and fire expert who teaches climate change issues. So they drove into Pacific Palisades fire scene in a decommissioned fire truck. So they had emblazoned on this fire truck with the name Rolling River Fire Department. They got to the scene 2 days in a row before they were stopped and arrested. They were seen acting suspiciously in the fire zone on the fake fire truck. And they make up rap songs for their website called Weather Slaps. One of the songs, the lyric the lyrics go, "Wait until you see it all burn." That was interesting. So the arsonist's husband was convicted for burning down country clubs and rich people's houses in a small town in Oregon. They were what you call eco-terrorists. So let me get this straight. 2 criminals setting fires just to blame climate change because they are deranged liberals. That makes sense, right? So anyway.
And we're the conspiracy theorists.
No, none of us. Real quickly, I just want to give an update on some of the legal proceedings that are happening with this couple.
Yeah.
Jennifer Nell, who was released on her own recognizance due to her lack of prior criminal history. Dustin Nell, who has the prior conviction you were talking about in Oregon, had a bail set at $30,000 and was subsequently released on bond. Both were charged with misdemeanor counts, including fraudulent impersonation of fire personnel and unauthorized activities related to badges. They face a maximum sentence of 180 days in county jail if convicted.
I thought you were going to say years. Yeah.
Their pretrial was scheduled this past February 11th in Van Nuys West, which I guess I could have gone. However, there has been no public update since the date regarding the outcome of the hearing or any subsequent legal proceedings. For the most current information, you may consider checking with the Los Angeles County Superior Court online case information or contact the court directly. By the way, I just want to put it out there that the fire damage of the Palisade fires is estimated to be between $250 billion to $275 billion.
Oh, man.
180 days in jail.
Oh, that's Lord.
Misdemeanor for that kind of damage.
Oh, Lord. Oh.
Yeah, that's American justice.
Yeah, it's American justice, man. Wow.
Meanwhile, they'll throw you in jail for any type of credit card debt.
Wow.
Gender seasons. What are they? Well, the latest craze in the psychotic gender seasons. Spring, I'm Heidi, frolicking in the Swiss Alps. Summer, call me George, a rock climber and a parachutist. Fall, I'm Stu, the emo punk trans anarchist. Winter, I'm Helga, cosplaying Elsa from Frozen. How did we get here? When identity becomes a costume party, sanity is the one not invited.
Sometimes I look at people and wonder how they fit so much stupid in their head, and it's like nothing makes sense.
Nope.
Yeah.
You know what? We'll play the video. Just
play the video.
Just for fun.
Did you know, however, there is a gender identity that is linked to the seasons? This is called gender season. And this is a gender identity I've only just learnt about. It's a micro identity. It's not an identity that I have ever heard discussed before. It's a new one for me. Gender season is an individual who explores their gender identity in relation to a season or all the seasons. So this might be somebody whose gender expression and identity is linked to one season. So for example, winter. Or this might be somebody whose gender identity and expression changes depending on the season.
There you go.
When you first brought this up, I honestly thought you were just spoofing us.
No. And you have to play the video there you go. There it is.
The video really kind of makes the point.
Yeah, there it is. Yep. Oh man.
And they wonder why they're going to end up alone.
Yeah. Wow.
Oh, she'll never be alone. She'll always have the voices in
Power
her.
cats.
Yeah, the voices in my head. Yes.
When you look at this, I have to wonder: is there actually going to be a generation after us?
Yes, I've wondered the same thing. I've said it out loud. Yeah.
Okay. Is this the equivalent of not having a father in the house? Because I mean, none of us would tolerate that from our kid.
No.
I mean, I don't know that some men might be like, oh, this is the child I've always wanted. Nowadays,
no.
I mean, not obviously men from our era or our generation or earlier, but today's youth,
Yeah.
they're kind of. I mean, I guess they're always scary to the previous generation. I know I was scary to my dad.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we get thumped.
Yeah, and you can't even get hit anymore.
Nope. Speaking of being hit, there's somebody that I wish we all had a chance to hit.
Yeah.
Well, Bill Gates is doing God's work. But let me be clear. Which God? I think it's the God of the world.
Yeah.
Who blinds men and not heals them, according to 2 Corinthians 4:4. After his trip to Singapore, the unvaccinated now face prison. This is not medicine. This is manipulation. When billionaires play God, well, liberty seems to be the first casualty.
Yeah. The high-profile visit to Singapore and the sweeping changes were quietly pushed through the country's legal system. Changes that now make it a crime to refuse mandatory government vaxes. So, and it's like, you know what? Give them a choice. But Bill Gates has a long history of financially backing the creation of the problem and the solutions. So he's got both.
We know now, too, that Gates was working on the COVID vaccine before it even happened.
Yeah.
What's he working on now that's coming next year?
Yeah.
I'm just wondering where all the greedy lawyers are that would go after him so he has no money to do these things anymore.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Are they being paid off?
I don't know. Yeah.
Enough money to go around.
I mean, he is such a huge target on his back, considering all the different vaccine injuries that have happened from his Gates Foundation.
Yeah.
How is that even solvent at this point? Seriously.
I don't know. And his wife left. So
yeah, she took a big chunk, I'm sure.
Yeah, she did. Yep.
Yeah, somebody should make a honeypot for Bill so that they just keep suing him until he's gone.
Take all that money. Yep. Take all his money.
All right. The next one we have, well, Islam is on the move in Florida. The Sunshine State now prays 3 times facing east. The culture shift isn't creeping anymore. It's marching. Question is, will America stand or kneel next?
When the reduced church attendance and the churches that have closed down isn't helping either. But play that video. This is crazy. They've taken over 3 churches and they're going to take over more.
We are buying these churches. We bought 3 churches so far, converted them to masjids, and now we have 1 we are buying with a school to make it, because we have to serve the same people. The people who were part of that community, one day they will be Muslims. So we'll make it into a masjid and an Islamic school for our children and their children, inshallah. 100 years ago, they invaded the Muslim world and they built missionary schools and destroyed Islamic schools and masjids. Today, we bring the favor back, turn their churches into masjids and their schools into Islamic schools. Bring the light of Islam to here. We're able to buy ready to go institutions that have been there for a long time, but they emptied out. And now it is time to be filled with Muslims, with reverts, converts. This is an election year, but we're not going to be happy with either candidate. We have to be happy when Islam becomes the best candidate for us. I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give Islam the victory in this country.
Yeah, I saw that and I was like, whoa.
I mean, he's spelling it out. Go ahead, Brett.
I'm glad they're in Florida, though, to where there's a bunch of conservatives in Florida. So
well, I mean, Texas too, and they're building that whole Islamic center.
Oh, yes, that's what I covered. Yeah, I covered that last week. Yeah, that's right. Oh man, I totally forgot about that. Thanks.
I really put this I hate to do, but I have to put this on the pastors of the United States that have weakened and watered down the gospel.
Yes.
And that's why I think church attendance is down. We want, we're not given the truth, and we're not coming at them hard because we don't want to offend anybody. And by us not offending anybody, we're allowing this to just steamroll us.
Yep. Offenses will come. Offenses will come.
And I don't think we're ready. I don't think we're ready for what's next. And I mean, I can't remember how many years he said. I can't remember if it was 100 or 1,000 years, but I mean, from the beginning of Islam, they have done nothing but burn churches, and destroyed Christian schools,
everything,
and
forced conversions of millions of people.
Yet
we're the ones that invaded them.
Yeah, exactly.
They're the victims, right?
They're the victims. Yep.
Crazy.
I mean, that's why Jefferson created the Marines, was specifically to fight the Barbary Islamic pirates.
Yep. Totally. Yep.
And let me be clear, as far as every single Muslim in the world, I wish that they would actually accept their savior and be saved.
Yeah.
Amen.
And not go to death.
Amen.
Worshiping a false god.
Yeah.
So I, in a sense, I do love them, but I also want them to stop being what they are.
Yeah.
And read your Quran. Don't listen to your imam that's lying to you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Read what it says.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Our last story is another video. I will not make any humorous quip. We'll just go right into it.
Watch Joe Rogan explain why he's sticking with Jesus.
Terrence McKenna had a great line about the difference between science and religion is that science only asks you for one miracle. I want you to believe in one miracle, the Big Bang.
Yeah. That's a good one.
It's a great line.
Yeah.
It's because it really is true.
Yes.
And it's funny because people would be incredulous about the resurrection of Jesus Christ, but yet they're convinced that the entire universe was smaller than the head of a pin, and for no reason than anybody's adequately explained to me. It makes sense.
Yeah. No.
Instantaneously became everything.
Yeah.
Okay.
I can't buy that.
I'm sticking with Jesus.
That sounds like a T-shirt.
Isn't that cool? Yeah.
Yep.
I just had to use that to make the guy that got mad at me that one time that I played Joe Rogan in the comments. He said, why do you play Joe Rogan? He's, blah, blah, blah. And I go, I play everybody. But I don't know if he's still here, but that one's for you, buddy. That one's for you. Yeah. This bird's for you.
Wow. Well, there you go. Joe Rogan is one of those figures who sometimes you just love him and sometimes you're like, really?
Yeah.
You're going there.
Yeah.
But on this particular case, I say, yeah, man, I'll stick with Jesus.
I'll stick with Jesus too. Yeah.
That's a bigger miracle than the ones we believe in.
Yeah.
Very much, very true. I'm going to read our scripture of the day, which is from Galatians 1, verses 8 through 10. But even if we or an angel from heaven preach any other gospel to you than what we have preached to you, let him be accursed. As we have said before, now I say again, if anyone preaches any other gospel to you other than the one you have received, let him be accursed. That's 2 times. For do I now persuade men or God? Or do I seek to please men? For if I still please men, I would not be a bondservant of Christ. And I think that's, to your point, Brett, this is so true that most Christians, pastors today, have watered down the gospel to the point that they would have a hard time saying to another person who's wearing the garb of a sheep, saying, I serve Christ, preaching a different gospel. They're not going to call them a curse. They're going to call him brother. And I find that very problematic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
When you say, let it be a curse twice, you're saying the same thing that Jesus would say to the Pharisees. Unless your righteousness exceeds that of the Pharisees, you will by no means enter the kingdom of heaven. And that's something that's gravely missing in today's leadership in the church. The inability to be harsh. And when I say harsh, I mean truthful.
Yeah.
About people who use the gospel as a plaything.
Mm-hmm. Right on.
All right. Ken, why don't you give some encouragement for the brothers and sisters as we end this broadcast?
You know what? I was just thinking today how since I celebrated Sally Tipton's life, and I saw all our pictures that we had and all her pictures from. It's a short time here, folks, and you're going to be eyes on with the Lord, and you're going to either be, you're going to be accepted or rejected. So that's the exception is not it's by faith and by faith alone in Jesus Christ, and that's number one, is just to have that faith. And I'm telling you, man, it was a ministering service. It was a service. It was like, it reminded me of my mom. My mom passed away at 48, and she died of lymphoma. And 8 people came to the Lord at her service. It was packed. It was packed, and she wanted an altar. She said, "I want an altar call," and the preacher preached. He preached. It was a Free Methodist church, so it wasn't United Methodist. We left the United Methodist, my dad being a pastor, and we went to the Free Methodist, and he was just attending. He hadn't gone into the pastorship at that time, and so, but it was awesome, man. That guy preached, and 8 people came to the Lord, or rededicated their lives, and that's all that matters. We have 80 years on this planet. That's it. That's why I joke so much about death. My wife doesn't like it, but just like whatever, yeah, whatever. So, but anyway, be encouraged, folks, and I'll stick with Jesus. I'll quote Joe Rogan.
Yeah, I'll stick with Jesus as well. God bless you.
Again, it just goes to show that unless people know that they're sinning and they need a savior, and they're not told that, then they're not coming to the Lord.
Yeah. Yeah,
we need to preach that message.
Yes,
100%, 100%. Brett, Ken, thank you so much. It's great to see you guys. God bless you. God bless everyone who's watching. Till next time, this has been Ken's Corner.